Hello, World of Tank Blizzards, as Littlefinger. Hey, got another full tank review for you today in the Edelweiss, which is a Tier 7 medium tank in the Hybrid Nation. It's October 2019, and we have just passed over 5,000 subscribers. Still waiting to hear back from Wargaming on the details of my press account. I gave them a list of videos that I want to do, and we'll do some live streaming with all the tanks in the game, so that should be a lot of fun. But for now, we're limited to the tanks in my garage, but don't worry, I've got plenty. And since we've just finished the Haven and the Vulcan, I figure I'm going to do my favorite tank in the Valkyrie series, and that is the Edelweiss. And you can see it here in the garage. Just look at that turret. Look how small it is. Look at those sloped edges. It is a beast hull down. Let me just tell you that for a medium tank, you can get it hull down and you will bounce shots all day long. I promise you that. Otherwise, the armor is nothing to write home about. 90 mil on the front, 40 on the sides and back. But it does have a real nice speed, 53 kilometers per hour, 20 in reverse. And it does have a nice gun depression of 8 degrees. So very comparable to the Haven, which has a little bit more armor on the sides. But this tank to me just feels and drives so much better. So I just want to show you real quick what this tank looks like hull down. So here is just a quick clip of the Edelweiss hull down. Look at all that red on either side of the gun. Alright guys, here's first game on Mayan Ruins as a bottom tier. And in order to cut down on the time of this video, I'm going to cut out the tank compare section. You can go to the Haven video and see my discussion on that because it was closely linked. And also want to talk about the equipment. So here is the layout that I've got. Gun rammer, defense system, and improved optics on the top row. Enhanced gun lane drive. And then I've been playing around with improved assembly over enhanced armor. Obviously, this tank does not have much armor, so 4% is really not going to help you out much. So you'll see in most of these videos I've got 1,150 hit points, whereas you're going to get an additional 70 hit points if you run the improved assembly. And then you've got engine accelerator finishing out the second row. Vertical stabilizer, enhanced tracks, and consumable delivery system. And so you can see from this game here on Mayan Ruins that, we've used the tank's speed as a medium to get here to the middle of the map and spot up several of the targets already. We're there early enough to even get a few shots in. Here comes the LTTB and RTD. And, I just kind of dropped off there to try to reset camo. We spot up the Panther trying to run away. And it looks like our heavies are holding their own. And so I'm making my decision here. Do I want to go ahead and flank at this point in time? The WZ, that TD there, he has pushed up and has spotted up the KV3, which distracts me a little bit. But you can see here, I am trying just to use my speed to pull out, not expose myself too much, use the terrain, gun depression, get my shot and pull behind cover. Now again, you'll notice that we are doing about 225 damage per shot, and that is because we've got a 90mm gun. And this is kind of the next step up. A lot of the tier 7 mediums like the VK and Panther and whatnot, they're doing more like 160. So I like this as far as being able to do damage without having to be super exposed, but it's not, it's not jumping up into the 400 range with a super long reload time. So we've used our speed, we've come around the backside here, and everyone is distracted and not really paying us much of attention yet. They're taking out our low health tank. Meanwhile, I am using as much of this hard terrain as possible to dish out the damage, and you can see here 2K already. And this is a game that I thought we had in hand pretty easily, but right now I'm starting to sweat it a little bit because it's 4-on-4. But we're going to take out the KV3. And then that M4 is going to give us enough shot here to snap one in on the move. And so you can see here, 2,600 in damage. We're not going to get too much more damage because our heavies do a real good job. But we are going to come up on this IS-3 Defender and give you a good idea about the penetration on it without switching over to APCR. So it's 3-on-1. We've got this game at hand, and you can see there I aim. Well, I really didn't aim, but it hit right on the top spaced armor section. So while it's showing right there that it's going to pen, you really want to be aiming just below the tracks, or if you can on the side of the turret, which is difficult on the Defender because it's got a very rounded turret. Now I've gotten too close and I don't have the gun depression to get down there and get another shot in, but we're maneuvering around. He's obviously on a full reload, and we get out of there without any more damage. But 3,100 in damage there as bottom tier, and you know, we were able to use our speed to do some spotting as well, which it certainly helps your experience points when you're playing these type of tanks. So here's my second game, encounter battle on New Bay, and you know, having just reviewed the Vulcan and talked about the Nameless and obviously the Lupus. You know, I think I might take a little bit of flack for saying that this, in my opinion, and it's only one man's opinion, is the best of the 5 tanks. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that just love the Lupus. To me, it's a little bit too slow, and it doesn't offer a play style like this game here. And these are the type of games that I just really enjoy because, you know, a heavy tank, you just roll on in here, you set up in a defensive position and you try to get shots in. Whereas here I am on a medium tank going to the heavy side, being patient, waiting for tanks to pop up, and then I'm relocating and you know, doing damage by having some good map awareness. And you can see that SU pops up, we shoot through the wall and get our first shot to go in. He's obviously pulled back before we can reload, and keeping an eye, I see that LTTB there. Look at this poor AT, as slow as he is, always last to the battle. One of the least favorite tanks in the game. But nonetheless, he's on his way in here, and I'm noticing this LTTB. So again, you see how I pull up here behind this hard cover so that I can get one shot in, back up, and see that there's no one else down here. So look at this. We've taken 3 shots to him. The FCM comes in, and we just missed the kill. And that's a little disappointing because you'll see later on. Now, you can see we've got the mutant down there, and that's not a fight that I want to get into right now, right? All things considered, I don't mind facing him on a 1v1 situation, but not when he's got other tanks around him. So it's time to relocate, use this great speed, and get ourselves into a different position with different crossfire angles. And here we come. I really hadn't noticed the Bulldog at that point in time, but you know what? I do want to get this SU out of the game, so 2 shots into him and he's taken out. We're 1,200 damage. I know I can't pull too far forward here, but the Bulldog's got to come around, and so we finish him off. And we're up a tank, and it's looking pretty good. We get 1 shot into the mutant there, and we've got the CDC. And I know he's looking down the alley, and he's just peppering shots into that poor AT. So we're going to switch on over and relocate and get him to move on out of there. And we know that the CDC doesn't have much armor, so we'll switch over to HE, but unfortunately I'm not patient enough to aim in the back there. There we get a 300 roll. And while that mutant was looking the other way, I decided just to go ahead and get a shot into him to put him on a definite 1 shot. Now look at this. So T-29 pulls out in front of everybody, or T-34, sorry. Obviously, they're all on a reload. The mutant's definitely going to be down there. And he pulls out sideways without side scraping or anything, and he's gone. So 2-on-2 here, and I'm not sure where the other tank is. The Black Prince is down there with that super high rate of fire. I don't want to be facing him, and just barely miss the shot there from the other tank. So I want to get to the side of this Black Prince, and there's his side. So we get one shot in. We're going to use the T-34 now to our advantage. Get hull down, switch over to APCR just to finish him off. And here comes the Vulcan, and you get a good idea of what this tank looks like. I'm still with APCR, and there's a little bit of red, but I can't reload in time as he goes down the hill. So I've got more hit points than him. Not too worried about this at this point in time. I've got AP loaded, and look at all this red. Look at all that red. Yep. That's why it's a premium tank. So we'll switch over to APCR and get one into the side, and then use our speed to get to his side and finish him off with an AP shot. And as you can see there, 35-93, 5-kill game. Good enough for an Ace Mastery badge and 1,287 experience points. And those are the type of games that I really love, and I find myself having more of those games in medium tanks like the Edelweiss, which is why I'm putting this as my favorite of the 5. Alright guys, last game here on Alpine Stad, and we are top tier. This is a Supremacy game. Just wanted to thank everybody for 5K subscribers. It's just totally awesome. New goal is 10K. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You can choose to get notifications when I post new videos. And it also shows Wargaming just how serious this channel is about making a difference in the game. And, you know, I love this game, and you guys are here. I'm sure you love the game too. Flaws and all, but perhaps at 10K we get a seat at the table and we can be a little bit more influential in giving some ideas to Wargaming to make the great game even better. And you can see we're coming up to the middle of the map here. Nice little spot to be in to get some spots in. It's something I really like to do as much as possible in mediums and definitely light tanks. And it really sets the tone for the battle. You know, once you know where the majority of the enemies are, you can really change your strategy to obviously help outmaneuver them. But you can see we've got 2 heavies pushing down the river here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm not the one that they're aiming at, right? So my goal here in each and every game is to stay alive as long as possible. So, yeah, it's getting kind of crowded down here. We got the KV2 and coming up my way. Luckily, he doesn't have the big gun. So we're going to finish him off as he makes a bad decision driving here. Goes up the hill. Doesn't have gun elevation enough to get to me. We're able to use our speed to, again, back behind a rock, making it more difficult. Less of a target for him to hit. This KV3 is pushing hard and showing us his rear, so we're going to get a couple shots into him. So yeah, our team just like completely disappeared there, and you know, shooting at a heavy tank. Maybe I should have switched over to APCR there to get that to go in, but then I would have finished him off with that shot. But you know, our aim was just a little bit off, but we do manage to finish him off just short of 2K in damage at this point. And there goes one, and we're trying to. They're all pretty low health. That P43 pushes a little bit too far. He's going for the kill, and I'm hoping to cap this base here and get a kill if someone points out. But no, it's now 3-on-1. They've traded players. There's one shot to get it down to a 2-on-1. They are slightly ahead in cap points. So my thought process is here. Let's draw them out. as it stands now, they can stay where they're at and win out the game. Not likely that that's going to happen, but if I run and use my speed to get to C, it's going to draw them out. They're going to have to come at me. And I'm pretty confident I've got more hit points than they do. And again, that's a decision you really can't make as well in a Lupus or a Nameless because of your lack of speed. And that's why I just feel like this is a much more dynamic play style and more fun to play. So anyway, they've captured or recaptured B, and so I know they're in town somewhere. So I'm hoping that they've split up and we can pick them off slowly. And sure enough, as we're coming into B here, there's one on my left, one on my right. We'll take the Nashorn, circle around, use his dead carcass for protection if we need it. But the type is going to try and run away, which really is not going to work against the Edelweiss here. Not too much to worry about as he takes one shot, and we're coming in here and finish him off for the Klovenov. Fairly easy one at that, though. But anyway, still a really fun game, and that's what I like. I like these close, fun games, and that's why I've made the comments I've made about matchmaking, and I just wish there was a way to incorporate win rates or recent win rates when putting these battles together. There's so many lopsided battles. To me, that is the biggest negative of this game these days. So anyway, that is my review of the Edelweiss, and again, I'm putting it as my favorite of the 5. The Haven as number 2. The Vulcan and Nameless are really close at 3 and 4, and I honestly, guys, I'm putting the Lupus last. I know you guys are going to laugh at me for that, but I just don't have fun driving that tank too much. So anyway, hope you learned a few things about the tank. Let you make a decision to spend that 7,500 gold for it, which is in the store right now, and I'm sure it will be back later. But as always, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.